Hey, 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 it is your girl, Lene Javette. I like to do my own shout out when I come into the room, or my horn. I forget what they call that thing when the horns go off. But hey, it's me. It's Lene Javette, CEO and founder of Upscale No War. Today we are on Fly Nubian Queen, the Black Business School. I love being a Black woman, and we're going to have a dope conversation about pushing through and can it kill you? But before we get to that, you guys probably see me today with these beautiful melanated women. And I'm going to give them an opportunity to introduce themselves to you because we are doing something new. We are bringing you something different. I have linked up with four beautiful Black women to create a show that we're calling Melanated Air. Melanin, of course, is Black. Air is, of course, what you breathe. And this is the airwave. So we are literally going to be having conversations that are reflective and from the perspective of Blackness, from Black women. Okay. And so with that being said, let me introduce you to the Black women of the Melanated Air show. We will start with the Fly Nubian Queen favorite, somebody that you guys are probably already familiar with, which is Madam President. And then we will work the room so that you guys can meet Miss Keisha and Miss Teddy. And then we're going to jump into our conversation about can pushing through kill you? Go ahead, Madam President.
Hey, you guys, I'm Madam President, always with the Z. I am so excited about Melanated Air. It is going to be on and popping, as they say. And I'm just glad to be here with my sisters, of course. I'm excited. I'm excited about what's to come. I'm excited about today's show. And thank you guys for just having me.
Yes. Thank you so much. Miss Keisha.
Hey guys, what is going on? My name is Keisha Ravenel. I am the owner of We Inspire brand, where I sell inspirational apparel to the Black community to uplift them, to inspire them. And I also teach new and aspiring entrepreneurs how to start their very own t-shirt business in order to make an extra stream of income. I am so happy to be on with these beautiful Black women. I am so excited about the conversations that we'll be having. It's going to be very important to the Black community, specifically to Black women. And, I'm just excited for it. I can't wait.
Me neither. All right. Miss Teddy.
Hello, everyone. Hello. I am Teddy Ewing at YouTube at Teddy Ewing, other platforms, The Real Teddy Talks. I discuss financial freedom. I discuss entrepreneurship, and most importantly, building your hustle and your grind. I could not be in the better acquaintance of these beautiful melanated women. And we're going to bring you something strong, something different, something powerful to keep you tuned in. I am excited and I can't wait to get started. So here we go.
Awesome. So we are going to kick this off, our first conversation of Melanated Air. We're going to be talking about can pushing through kill you, because we know as Black women, as Black men, as Black people, we got to push twice as hard as everybody else, right? And Keisha found this really dope video online talking about, the things that happen to us when we're trying to push through, whether it be suicide or just different things that happen, drug use. There's these different things that happen to us when we're trying to push through. And sometimes these things can kill you. What can we do to not see that as much in our community? So I don't want to take the conversation away. So Keisha, go ahead and tell us about the interview that you saw and open us in our conversation today.
Yes. So the interview, Candy Burris, the mogul, she was interviewing on her Body Works. It's I guess that's one of her playlists on her YouTube channel. And one thing that she did mention was depression, and that she considered committing suicide when she was younger. And that captured my attention because I am a huge mental health advocate, especially for Black business owners. And for myself, I have to tell myself, hey, you need to slow down. Hey, you can't burn out. If you're not pouring into yourself, then you can't pour into your business. Then you're not going to be good for your business. So I watched the interview, and she basically talked about, when it came to her business, I may not be better than someone at something, but I'm sure as hell gonna outwork you. That's what she said. She said, I'm gonna outwork you when it comes to it, so that, and I'm paraphrasing now, so that she can, get to the top. And I was just like, oh, okay, wow. Like, I wonder what the ladies would think about this and what you all think about mental health when it comes to you as a business owner.
I see you shaking your head, Madam President. I want to also say, I've heard that comment where outwork, and I think I saw it on Will Smith, and he was talking about, you may be better than me, you may look better than me, you may have more money than me, you may do it, but you can't outwork me. And I think that as Black people, we show up to situations like, you're not going to outwork me. Like, you may have whiteness, you may have privilege, you may have this, but I'm going to show up, I'm going to work harder, I'm going to do more. Does that help? Does it actually get you where you want to be? Go ahead, Madam President. I know you're waiting to get in. Tag.
I am like going, I'm on fire on the inside because this system, you cannot outwork this system. People cannot outwork the poverty that they're born in. There are certain times where circumstances come into play, right? And I think about this word, opportunity. So many people will never have the opportunity. So many people will never have their dreams accomplished, right? So sometimes there are a lot of people in this country who put in a lot of hard work and they ain't never gonna see $1 million. And it's because this assumption that you can work your way through is very, very difficult. Now, here's what's kind of dangerous, because there's a medium to this, right? Because you have to work, right? And you got to work hard in order to accomplish or achieve or get the things that you also desire. But there's a lot of factors that goes into play. And maybe I'm just being way too deep, because I just really feel like there's this broad spectrum. And as a Black woman, right, who has ancestral DNA from descendants of slaves, but also descendants of royalty, there's something that always comes to mind, and that is Black people have been working from sun up to sundown since they landed here in America. So there is something that I had to learn as a Black woman myself, and I have a very intimate passion for labor and Black women. Okay, like I've experienced my own hard work, working and getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning, going to sleep at midnight, getting right back up. So this idea is very important to me, right? But as a slave, it's like when I went on the Whitney Plantation in New Orleans, there was something that they said that the average lifespan of a slave was about 10 years. They worked themselves to death during that time. They would work themselves to death constantly. So I remember that sentence, and I thought to myself, what you can endure does not mean that it should be tolerated. We have a high endurance level for work. Some of our people are working in crazy conditions, not to mention that. And I think Candy and people like her, they do have to work hard, because guess what? You got to compete, right? And not to mention, it's a difference of work when you're dealing with millions of dollars. Some folks working hard for a good $35,000 a year. They are working their butt off in their arena. So my thing is, this is a dangerous, slippery slope of working your way through. I think you have to be intellectually inclined and intelligent enough to know when to stop and say, I'm gonna let the next person have it. I'm not built for it.
Okay,
I agree.
Go ahead.
So let me chime in on this one. So why don't we reframe this? Why don't we just outsmart? And once we've outsmarted, then work, right? Because it's a tortoise in the hare. It's not the fastest and the hardest working. Hardworking people don't get rewarded with anything more than more work. At your job, if you're working hard, your boss like, ooh, she a hard worker. I'm gonna give her some more work. She's gonna get it done. And we've associated that with success, with acceptance, with these arbitrary, not real goals. But when you outsmart someone and you start doing what other people are doing to gain their wealth and to gain their freedom and to gain their riches, that's when you can then implement your work and be more successful with it. Because once Kandi Burruss was in, right after she made them hits, she wrote them songs, sold them to Destiny's Child way back in the day, then she was in. So once you're in, then your level of work changes. And the way you have to work changes because you have your connections, you have your network. So we do have to work. We have to work in the right way. Otherwise, you are just killing yourself.
Mhm.
So, okay, so let's talk about that. Did you want to say something first, Keisha, before I take it someplace else?
Yes. I did want to say I agree with these ladies, and it's also important to know yourself, right? So for me, starting out as an entrepreneur, I said, well, all the other entrepreneurs, they're talking about team no sleep. So I have to be team no sleep because they look successful. So I'm going to be successful too. So I can't sleep. So I was up till 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning, burning myself out, and then wondered why the next month I couldn't get any work done. You know, I'm like, well, I can't get out of bed. I can't do these things. And then I had a situation that forced me to actually stop working. You know, my uncle, who was like my father, passed away earlier this year. And I literally could not work on my business. I was depressed, I was down, and I had to go back to therapy in order to build myself up. So I said, the next time I go back to my business, I'm going to know for myself, I can't do this. I have to have systems in place. I have to have a structure that is for me. So as a business owner, you have to know yourself. You have to know your limits, what you can do and what you can't do. And I also just want to mention chasing versus attracting. So for me, I don't want to chase, right? I don't know if y'all know like Mace, and he, in one of his songs, he said, I don't chase money, man, money chase me, right? So it's like, I don't want to chase money. I want to attract money. So that doesn't mean that you don't do the work. It just means you do the work, and what is for you will come to you. So chasing versus attracting versus chasing. Chasing, you have that desperate energy, right? And when you have that energy of desperation, it doesn't really come to you, right? It doesn't come naturally as if you're sitting back, you're attracting, and you're doing what you have to do.
Absolutely. So I'm going to kind of go back over a couple of the things that were said and kind of tie it all together. So one of the things that was mentioned, Chanel talked about, she took it all the way back to slavery, right? And how we worked as slaves. We were up at dawn and we didn't go to bed till after, late at night. And I think that work ethic has probably been passed down, right? So we know how to work. For me, I'm a workhorse. I've watched my mom work 2 and 3 jobs. I want to be the best. So when I show up, I work hard. When I became an entrepreneur, I did exactly what you said, Keisha. I was team no sleep at the beginning. Work up early, up late. What do you need me to do? How can I do it? And it does. Pushing through, literally, it can kill you. It can cause you to gain weight. It steals your life. But sacrifices are necessary in order to get where you want. And this is the point. This is where I want to bring it to what Teddy said. Once you push through and you arrive, right? Whether you're a Candy Burris or a Keisha or a Teddy or a Lene or whoever you are in your job, in your business, or a Candy. I think some of what causes people how the push through can kill us is once we arrive, staying there.
Yes.
That fight to stay relevant, that fight to hold your position, that fight to get to the C-suite, that fight to go from starting a business to 6 figures, from 6 figures to 7 figures, that push through is what causes people to is what can cause people to get out of an alignment, right? We talked about Michael K. Williams. He arrived, like he pushed through, he arrived, but he still had some issues and some demons that he had to deal with. So that push through, and this is me, I don't know if nowhere has it said that his push through killed him. Let me make that disclaimer. But I know from my own experience, once you get to a particular pinnacle, you have to hold on to it. Like you don't want to fall off. And that is the push through that has the potential to kill you. You look at Naomi Osaka. She's pushing through in tennis. She's showing up. But she had to stop herself and be like, look, I can't do this. Like I have to pull back, because if she would have got out there, mental breakdown, her body could have broke down, and that would have been pushing through for who? For America, for tennis fans. Like that push through could have literally ended her career. You look at Tiger, he probably should have sat down long ago, but he's been pushing through, trying to get that. I think he's trying to win so many, I think it's masters, so that he can break a particular record, but he's pushing through. And every time he shows up at a game, he's not as good as he was the year before. Like that push through it's not killing him physically, but it's killing his reputation. It's killing his scorecard. Like we push through sometime in ways that have a negative impact on us. But then you have people like a Simone Biles who said, no, I'm not going to push through. I'm going to choose me. I'm going to choose my peace of mind. I'm going to choose my stability. I'm going to choose my career. I'm going to choose who I am. And I think that there's something to be said about that.
But then we have to ask ourselves, when is enough enough? What are you pushing towards? And when have you arrived there? Have you set goals? And that's the problem. I am a true goal setter. I set a goal. Then when I arrive at that goal, I pat myself on the back. I appreciate it. I feel good about it. And then I may set another goal, but I don't feel like I have to keep going. And it's because I don't have a lot of ego. My ego is usually out of the conversation. So when I achieve a goal, it's because it's for my family, it's for my health, it's for my finances. But I'm not worried about what people think about me and who likes me, and they're going to think more of me. And when you put that ego in there, that's what causes you to want to be the best of the best for way too long, when you probably need to hang it up, enjoy your riches, and go into some business ownership, buy some franchises, do something a little less stressful, right?
Okay. So you
Freddie,
made Go ahead, Keisha.
I was going to say, I'm glad you mentioned that, because a lot of us, I feel like, are chasing destination happiness, right? We're going to be happy when we get to this goal, right? So I like the fact that you said, when I reach a certain goal, I stop. I pat myself on the back. I celebrate it, so I think it's very important for us to know, we have to celebrate ourselves, right? There's so many things that we are doing to get to that bigger goal, right? That we should be celebrating along the way. So I'm really happy that you said that. And I feel like that also goes to, like I said, that destination happiness. If we're choosing to be happy now, I feel like we can live more fulfilling lives, and our mental health will be better, rather than, oh, I'm going to be happy, I'm going to be satisfied when I get to that $1 million. But what about that $100,000 that you weren't making? What about the $50,000 that you weren't making? So just choosing in this moment, looking at yourself and saying, hey, I got this far. I did something that I wasn't doing a year ago, and just patting yourself on the back, like you said.
You make a great point, and I literally changed my business model for that reason. So there's a couple things I want to go back through, but before I do that, I want to reset the room. Hey everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. This is Melanated Air. We are 3 to 5 Black women at any particular time that are on your airwaves, having discussions about what's happening in the world from a business perspective, from a Black business perspective, right? A professional perspective. And so I'm Lene Javette. This is Keisha. This is Teddy. You will probably see Madam President Faye Bishop from time to time. And we will be doing this on a weekly basis. So you can tune in and hear us talk. Today, we're talking about, does pushing through kill you? And we're talking about it again from the Black man, Black woman perspective with regards to pushing through, whether that's in your business, whether that's in your life, your finances, whatever the case might be. We as Black people have been taught to push through regardless of the circumstances which you're dealing with, at work. And can that kill you? So I want to go back to what Keisha was talking about, actually what Teddy started talking about with regards to ego, right? And making sure that you take time to celebrate yourself. And I have a couple of different, the ego piece I want to talk about, because I'm guilty. I don't take the time to celebrate my wins. I'm moving so fast, trying to get to the end result, that I don't take the time to celebrate my wins. But you're right, because every time I get to a goal, my goal moves. So even though I've accomplished, even though I'm making 6 figures in my business, that's great, but the goal is $1 million. So, and I think about Oprah or Jeff Bezos or whomever, and I say this all the time. Once they reached $1 billion, that wasn't the end goal. Now the next goal is $5 billion. Like I don't, ever stop wanting what comes next. I don't want to become complacent. I don't want to plateau. I don't ever want to get to a level and be like, oh my God, this is good. I'm making 500,000, so I'm good. Like for me personally, I always feel like there's so much more out there. Like I want more, not necessarily it all, but more. And so that's how I operate. When I look at what I want, it makes it difficult to celebrate the small wins, even though I know they're wins, right? But one of the reasons why I changed my business from Closire to the Mogul brand to Upscale Noir is because of exactly that. The majority of us, we do not look at what the things that we've done that have been good. We do not look at where we started and where we are. All we see is how far we are away from our end goal. And we can disregard all the hard work that we've done and how far we have come, looking ahead at what we haven't accomplished. So with Upscale Noir, I changed to that because a lot of times people are just looking to scale up. Like I'm just looking to go from here to here. If I've always rode coach, I want to have a first class experience. If I've always lived in a house, if I've always lived in an apartment, I want to live in a house. If nobody in my family has gone to college, I want to be the first person to go to college. Like there's levels to this. There's the ability to scale. You don't have to go from 0 to 100 or from 50,000 to 1 million. There is 100,000. There is 500,000. There's 750. Like there's scales to this stuff. And if you take it slow, you will not kill yourself. You will not burn out. You can go from team no sleep to a full night of sleep to processes to a virtual assistant to staff. Like there are steps. There's a scale that goes up. Levels. Okay. Just want to make sure I hit all my points. Boom, 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 boom. So how do we think, or what do you guys think is a way, like how can somebody, Tate, I'll ask you this. What do you do to celebrate your wins?
So if it's a work accomplishment, it can be something as simple as a nice dinner with my husband, maybe a massage, go to the spa for the day, or it can be, if I can afford it, a vacation. So I do what's going to make me happy and give me time to reset my mind and perhaps make that next goal, right? So I'm not a continuous goal maker or a continuous higher goal setter, but I definitely need to reset and then hit it again. And a lot of people, I won't say us in the community, but people celebrate in the wrong way. You get that raise and you buy a house you can't afford. You get that raise, you get that Mercedes because you've always wanted one, but you didn't calculate the car payments, the insurance, the maintenance every year. So I'm all about be smart with your wins, be smart with your successes, be smart with yourself. Hustle hard the right way. It's like you have to celebrate yourself, but celebrating can be a warm bath when your husband or significant other takes the kids away. Take them for a whole day. Take them for 5 hours so I can just be to myself and nobody's calling my mommy name. You know what I'm saying? And you celebrate yourself in the way that's going to give you value and not make you spend your coin or spend your value, but make you feel valuable. And I think that's where we get lost is we've associated successfulness with this need to one-up even ourselves. I'm going to buy myself this $2,000 purse or these $1,000 pair of shoes as a reward, but you only got a raise of $1,500 for the year. Why are you going to spend it all on shoes, right?
Right.
Deliberate about our successes and our praises to ourselves.
And I just want to say, don't feel guilty for celebrating yourself as well, because I know I struggled with that earlier this year when I couldn't bring myself to work on my business, but I saw myself spending time with my friends or like going to brunches. And I brought that to my therapist. I am in therapy every other week, and I am a huge advocate for therapy. So I said, well, why is it that I am so eager to go out with my friends or family, but then when it comes to my business or working at my job at the time, like it's so draining? And she said, because you need to fill your cup up right now. She said, that is what you should be focusing on, filling up your cup. And if going out with your friends, if spending time with your family, if going to brunches, if these things are filling you up, allow them to fill you up so that when you are ready, you can have that to pour into your business. You can have that to give to your business. So I just want to encourage everyone to be okay with doing things that don't pertain to business or don't pertain to work, and don't feel guilty about that.
Oh, that's super important. So I want to recap what you said. Which is one, between you and Teddy, a win can set you back. Like we said, does pushing through kill you? It doesn't have to, but don't let your win set you back either, right? So there's that, and also rewards don't have to be expensive. So you should reward yourself. You should look at what you've accomplished and how far you've come, and academically, educationally, in your business, in your career, in your life, and reward yourself, right? Even if you are not as far as you like to be or as close to your goal as you would like to be, you should still big up yourself for coming as far as you've come. You have life obstacles, you have haters out there, you have the world, you have other people coming at you. You've done some good, part of my language, you've done some good shit in your life, so you should reward yourself for that. And then I like what Keisha was talking about. Some of that reward might just be in self-care, therapy. Like, I cannot talk about how therapeutic and rewarding therapy is. And I know, in the Black community, we don't talk about psychology or psychiatrists and therapy because we go to church and we pray about it. But I go to church, I pray, but I get therapy too. Therapy has allowed me to mentally and spiritually free myself of past trauma, hurt, angst. The reason why I have to work so hard, the reason why I'm trying to prove that I'm good or that I'm the best, or the reason why I have to be at the pinnacle. Like, some of that working like a racehorse comes from traumas from when we were younger. And so therapy is, I cannot say enough about how good therapy is. Like, it lets you say, so if you think about the reasons why people do drugs, or the reason why people get stagnant in their life, or stagnant in their business, or stagnant in the career, there's something in them that says you can't do it, you're not going to make it, you're not going to be good enough, you're not going to get the business, you're not going to get the job, even though you have arrived, you're going to lose it, nobody really cares about you. There's something in you that has those conversations. Therapy allows you to vocalize those things, like to literally say it. I have said some of the ugliest, nastiest, dirtiest, meanest things in therapy that was so freeing, from when I was 12 years old, from being rejected, from promiscuity, whatever the case might be, that freed me spiritually and made me better in business. It made me better at pitching. It made me better at negotiating because my confidence is different. Like, there is a freedom to not having to prove yourself to someone else. There is a freedom in not having to push through all the time. And I don't want to say push through and be the best, because you can still be the best and not have to push through. You can be the best with you. You can be the best with your children. You can be the best in your family, in your community, and how you show up. It doesn't mean you have to kill yourself working or trying to put on for the Joneses, if you will, to do it. Madam President, you back?
I am back. Thank you. Sorry, my system shut down on me. I said, unbelievable. Like, there is a hardworking hater out there. It's interrupted my flow. But I hear ladies discussing therapy, and it's so essential. I'm in therapy myself, and one of the things I saw online once, and it said that, talking to your girlfriends is fine, but there's a difference between talking to a professional with a end goal, with a specific agenda, that's different than just talking to your homies and getting through a certain thing. We have a lot of different things that we've experienced in this country, and sometimes we've never even just had the know-how on how to feel. I kid you not, this is so crazy. I'm talking to my therapist one time, and I'm like, I'm angry, I'm mad, and she was like, and what else? And I'm like, no, I'm mad, I'm pissed off, and she's like, well, in my research, in research, it's never just anger, it's always underlined, right? And so she was like, and what is it really? And then I said, I'm hurt, I'm disappointed. And then as a grown-up, you're like, wow, I have to use words, huh? The things that we tell words. You got to use words. You think being mad is enough. And then I said, wow, underneath all our frustration are other emotions and other things. And I'm sorry, but my homies have never taken me through that path, So it was very refreshing to just have a professional to assist you. And professionally, I will say that a therapist have been able to allow me to create boundaries, which is something in my environment growing up. You know, a lot of times you grow up with your mama, your grandmama, y'all all living in the same house. You can't say no to nobody without feeling guilty. You know, it's kind of crazy in how these environments we grow up in. You ever meet some white people and it's like, you haven't talked to your mother. What do you mean? You know, you have it's like, oh no, you know, I don't talk to my mother. I don't do, no, we see each other during the holidays and that's it. So I realized that there is so much that's within us that we've experienced that can benefit from professional outlook, intelligence, etc., to help us improve. So I am forever grateful for therapy.
Yeah. May I just share with you ladies that I went live with my therapist yesterday. So I went live with her on Instagram and she did a secondhand therapy session with me. So I was actually doing therapy on Instagram for my followers to see because I'm such a huge advocate for therapy and mental health. So I said, okay, I want to open up and be vulnerable enough to go live with my therapist. And so you guys can see I'm not just talking the talk, I'm walking the walk. You know, I am in therapy. And one thing that came up was my anxiety about, you know, showing up and working hard and all of those things. And we got to the root of it. And the root of it was, you know, I saw my mom, my aunt, my grandmother, those were the Black women in my family that took care of everything. So now I feel like I'm stepping up into this role. You know, I'm getting older and now I have to be the one to take care of the family. So I have to make sure my business is good and I'm bringing in income and like all of these things, because what happens if someone in my family needs me, you know? And she told me that's not your responsibility. As much as you think it is, and you're taking on that role. No one is telling you that you have to take on that role. You automatically think you are, but you can't, you know, have this perception that kills you now because like I'm literally in fear, right? And having anxiety about it and take this on and no one is asking you to do that. You know, so if you do want to check it out, I have it in my highlights on my Instagram page at We Inspire Brand.
I love that. It makes me ask the question why. I ask the question why a lot because we do things, we think things, we believe things, we've adopted this truth, right? Our truths. And I always say, is it real or Memorex? My mom actually says that, real or Memorex? Because when you ask why, so why do you feel that way? Well, because that's the way it was done. But who told you that?
Right.
Well, nobody told me that. So then why do you believe that? Well, I just believe it. So you keep asking why till you get to the root of it. And then you'll figure out, nobody did tell me that. I put that on myself. So then stop doing it. It's like a relationship that ain't working.
Right.
And you just stop contacting that person and y'all just never talk again. And you had all of this stress going on and you realize you were the one holding the relationship together, creating it, making it, build it. And then when you let it go, it fizzled out all by itself. And there was never anything else said.
Yeah.
And you were the one building that all up in your head. So we have to be accountable and forgiving of ourselves and maybe even vocalize it, Keisha. I mean, that's you felt that way with your family, but did you ever have a conversation with your family and say, do you expect this of me? And
right.
How can we work through that? You know what I mean? Instead of just creating the story in our heads.
Right.
You know, I call those unspoken expectations, and they show up at work. They show up in your relationships. They show up in a lot of times, any type of engagement that you have with another person where you feel like either you expect something from them that you haven't communicated to them, or you feel that they expect something from you that hasn't been communicated to you. And as women, there are a lot of unspoken expectations. Be a mother, go to work, be a wife, have sex, clean the house, do the laundry. These are unspoken expectations that can be put on women. And this is kind of what leads us back to, does pushing through kill you? Like, you got to do all those things plus be true to yourself. Like, plus be an entrepreneur and business owner, plus, and then when you can't do all of those things, that's where the guilt comes in, and you don't take the time to take care of yourself. You don't take the time to reward yourself. I have all these responsibilities. Everybody's counting on me, yet I haven't fulfilled the things I want to do for myself. And now I don't feel good. And now I may or may not take drugs, or I may or may not produce like I'm supposed to in my life, or show up for myself the way that I am. And those are the things that can kill you. They can kill you sometimes physically, but it could be emotionally, it could be spiritually. You just don't want to show up. You don't want to work. You don't want to start that business. You don't want to write that book. You don't want to do that live. You don't want to get up, put your eyebrows on so you can, you know what I'm saying? Like, you just, there's multiple ways that pushing through can kill you. It doesn't have to be physically. You don't have to be in the grave. Your dreams can die. Your ability to be disciplined in your health and wellness can die. Your ability to be creative and innovative for your business can die. Your relationships can die. And that's why it's super important that we take the time to either get therapy, or to reward ourselves, or to seek help, or to spend time with ourselves, to read a book. Like, there's multiple ways that you can go about living. Putting something good into your life, showing up to the Melanated Air show on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I mean, this has been great. If you ask me too, we out here talking about some good stuff. Let me see what Donati say. She says, absolutely ruining our mental, emotional, physical health. We are not taught healthy coping skills outside of leave it in good hands and or prayer. Yeah. We're not. We do what we saw. We saw grandmama work. We saw our moms work. So we show up and we put our Captain Save 'em hats on, and we get out here and work too. Mm-hmm. Anybody want to add something to it, to the conversation? And we're pressing up against our 2-minute mark, and I want to be respectful of your guys' time and our audience's time. Anything that you want to, anything you want to take us out with? Last thoughts.
I'm definitely, since I had some time that vanished from me, from my system, I just want to say that there was a time a few years ago that I had an ulcer, and I was I work in TV and film through my 9 to 5, and I have a small business as well. And so TV and film is one of those career paths that really requires a lot of time. So the average day for TV and film is 12 hours. So I literally was working 12-hour days. And when you're young, those kind of hours are okay. You know, if you're healthy, you're running, all those different things. But what I learned was when you're on the ground in those environments, you don't get a lot of time to yourself, right? So now you got to figure out time management and all that stuff. So I'm working in TV and film, and I get an ulcer one year. And I'm literally in the hospital, and the doctors are like, what are you doing? Like, what's happening? They asked me, are you taking aspirin? I'm like, no, so they're like, okay, we don't understand why you have an ulcer this size at this age, and you don't have any, you don't have any preconditioned health, anything. So it's like, they're concerned, right? They're asking me these questions. And guess what I could think about? All I could think about was work. I was like, look, how long is this going to take? I got to get back to work. And the doctors was like, you're not going to work this week, ma'am. I'm sorry. And I just was like, no, I got to get back to work. No, I can't stay here and be in a hospital bed. And it kind of dawned on me in that moment how essential your health is to wealth. Like, you are only as wealthy as you are healthy. Yeah. You cannot have access to wealth and you are completely bankrupt when it comes to your health. Mm-hmm. Now, mind you, we think about you say, oh, I'll do anything for $1 million. Well, are you going to die for it? Because if you die for it, you won't get it. Right. You really have to think about, like, how important is this to me? And how can I do this effectively? And somebody else could probably do this without getting an ulcer in their stomach. Let them have it. But this, because of our personality types too, and how we do work, we have to really ask ourselves, is this working for me, or I'm just working for it? Mm-hmm. And when I come to those kind of realizations, it's been very easy to walk away, no matter who the celebrity is. Oh, hey, Chanel, we got Denzel in this movie. Thank you. I can already You know, look at Lene. I'm gonna give it to my girl Lene. She may want it.
I will show up for Chanel.
Right. You know, we really have to ask ourselves this very often. Is this working for me, or am I just working for it? And when we come to those realizations, I guarantee you it gets better.
Oh,
yeah.
I love that. I love. Okay, so I'm gonna plug something right here, and then I'm gonna let Keisha and Teddy close out. One of the things that I've been researching, to your point, Chanel, on health is wealth, is 8 hours of sleep. Your favorite, not your favorite, the biggest, largest CEOs, Jeff Bezos, Sandy, I can't think of, girl, the COO at Facebook. 8 hours of sleep, mandatory. They will do anything to get that 8 hours of sleep. You have to get the sleep. They're early to bed, early to rise. They exercise every day. They always drink their water, and they delegate. So they don't take on the tasks of everybody's job. They operate at a high level. They get their sleep. They get their workout, and that's how they stay fresh, stress free. So if you are an entrepreneur or business owner, make sure that your health is critical to your wealth, your innovation, your creativity, all of that. I'll stop there. Go ahead, Keisha. Go ahead and your final thoughts.
Yeah, I agree. I'm just going to leave everyone with know yourself as a business owner. So if you know that, you're 23 and you could work those 12 hours and it won't affect you, do it. Hey, go for it. But if you can't do it, don't force yourself to do it. And as you ladies said, health is wealth. And, I feel like that's what I'm going to leave you with. Just know yourself, know your limits, know what you can do. And, and you'll achieve your goals that way.
Yes.
Definitely. I want everyone to know you have options. You have options. There is nothing that you have to do the way you're doing it. There are always other ways to do it. If COVID showed us nothing else, is that our jobs can operate at a different level than we were operating. They can do telework. They can do it without us in the office. They can do it without us being in there 8, 10, 12 hours. Those were arbitrary, made up parameters that don't really exist in our reality. So when something is not working for you, change it. And you figure out the best way that you can change it and just do it. Don't be afraid to take risks and say, F it. I'm not doing it anymore and I'm going to figure another way out, because you do have options. And sometimes it's when you're under that pressure to figure out something else, when you are inspired and you do have that epiphany and you do take that chance like Keisha and leave that 9 to 5 and you pursue your goals. It's scary, it's risky, but stop being afraid and causing stress on yourself when maybe you just need to cause a stress and take that leap and then see what is waiting for you on the other side of fear, as Will Smith said.
Yeah.
So you got options.
Yes. Oh my God, this is Melanated Air. Breathe in, you guys. Life from a Black perspective. 4 or 5 Black melanated women coming to you weekly to talk to you about different things that are happening in our lives, in our communities from a business perspective. I'm super excited to bring this to you guys. Make sure that you tell all your friends, like the platform, share the platform, go to each of these ladies' platform and follow them on Instagram. You have Keisha at We Inspire Brand. You can find Teddy at The Real Teddy Talks. You can see Madam President at One Madam President with a Z. You can find me at I am Lene Javette. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode where we talked about Does Pushing Through Kill You? We will be back on Thursday for another conversation. I'm not going to tell you what it's about because we try to keep it fresh. But make sure you come back on Thursday. Bring your mama and them, and bring your friends, tag people, share it, because we want to make sure that we're having conversations that are reflective and relative to us in our community. I believe everybody on here is B1. And so we thank you. We appreciate you. And we will see you on Thursday. Bye.
Hey, everybody.